They're personal, right? Yeah. Means it business. I always do the right thing. We can laugh about it later, or you can not laugh about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I won't, but just look at the ticket. That is awesome.
But that's funny that he says that, because I can remember that, you know, tell my dad. I don't know why he did, well, you know, because I think they really came from an era that was, you know, you could use hand signals, you know, I mean, they were. So turn signals to him, you know, growing up, he was born in 1919, you know, so I mean, they didn't have cars that had turn signals back then, you know. So.
You guys want a donut? I know you.
Yes.
Sure, we're gonna have a donut.
Oh, they have really good donuts.
Here, we have a nicer chair to sit in.
Oh, this is fine.
It's gonna be a long day.
Right, I was trying to get rid of, as long as the chocolate isn't all over my face.
That's for the candidate.
Oh, the candidate, okay, perfect. I tried to count.
And Amanda's coming. So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we had one extra, so I was like, do you want a more comfortable chair, but.
This guy's hair.
Okay.
Do you want this? Or I can eat a donut and then, you know.
Yeah.
Here, I
Good
got
stuff. Yeah, thank you.
Just give one of the questions from the candidates.
Put her on a hot seat for the pharmacy. There she is. Good morning. Down here.
You're over here, Amanda.
Over here.
Yeah.
How are you today, Amanda?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay.
Hi.
Those donuts are
And
like.
if we could close the door.
Hi.
What's that?
Good
Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Man, did you bring the balloons out for you?
Yes.
Oh,
That is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me in the history of Zoom meetings.
that's the coolest thing that's ever happened.
I'm
on
like
Zoom
having
meeting.
like making this point and like balloons just flying.
Your
from
jaw
my face.
just dropped.
I was
in that
tired
case.
of
She's
the
like,
balloons here.
Your expression just kind of made it.
yeah.
That was good. I was almost gonna bring some balloons if we had some local and just hang them on our chair. I know, I could never stop.
This is like such a demure setup of your brothers. So.
Hey, we go all out here, you know.
So
Yeah.
dainty.
I don't get used to it.
I know, right? It's like.
It's only for guests.
Oh, I didn't realize this.
Wait till you come over here and you see the papers, you know, like.
Which they go from that guy in Blackhawk, correct? She still do that, what's the paper? Blackhawk, yeah.
I think he's an Empire.
Feels very like.
Oh, really? That Joyce Donuts or whatever? Not Joyce.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's
not much space. Okay, thank you so much.
It's not Lady Gaga.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you, appreciate that.
He only does.
It could be Blackhawk.
He only does.
I'm taking chocolate.
He doesn't have.
Okay.
Yeah.
She
All
might-
right, I don't have a gavel, so I'm using voice.
Hold you up.
It's okay, we're good. I'm gonna call this special meeting of the Board of Selectmen of the town of Georgetown to order. It is 8:11 on Friday, March 14th, 2025. And we'll go ahead and do roll call. I am Lynette Kelsey, police judge, Rob Connell,
Here.
Amanda Cooper,
Here.
Rich Barrows,
Here.
Dwayne Gazinski,
Here,
and Mary Smith.
Here.
Okay. We are here to conduct interviews, for the finalists for town administrator position. And, we'll get to that in just a few. Welcome, Jerry. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks.
Okay, we're gonna discuss a few logistics first. And so we've got a schedule that, we're gonna try and stick to. And I don't think I got a printed one, so let me get into my snapshot of it.
I have it if you need it.
And there. Okay, we're gonna start We're gonna start the first interview at 8:30. And then that will go until, for an hour, we'll do a short break. And then, the second interview at 9:45. That will also go for approximately an hour. We'll take a short break and get feedback from the board candidates who are also here. And then we'll go into a working lunch and continue the discussion amongst the Board of Selectmen. So that's the plan for today. Let's go ahead and, is there anything more to add?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I just want to apologize again for people who weren't here. We have no paper at town hall. So
We
I
don't
had to
have
make.
small paper. We have big.
This is
Plenty of room
very,
for notes.
No, I was gonna say,
This
I
is-
can write big.
this is very, yeah. it's fine.
So,
Okay.
okay,
Lynette,
yes,
before you take your motion to go in executive session, I do need to do as directed by the board. I need to make a little record on the nature of the participation of the board candidates in the executive session today. And I've worked with Joe Rivera on this. And what I need to do is read a non-disclosure and confidentiality affirmation and get each of the board candidates that is going to be in the executive session with you to confirm that they agree with those requirements. And so before you take your executive session motion, which I assume you have handy, right? You do?
yes, I
Okay,
sure
right.
do.
Before you do that, I'll need to do this affirmation, and it's not exactly short, but what I intend to do is to read it, and then we'll have on the record here, and we're recording, correct?
Yes, we are.
We'll have on the record each of the board candidates affirm that they agree and will abide by the affirmation I'm going to read. That's important, of course, because it's not common to have other persons other than staff and whatnot in executive sessions, but it's appropriate if we confirm the rules of the game.
Thank you.
Fair enough?
Mm-hmm.
Is now a good time for me to do that? I didn't want to interrupt any other logistics before you're ready.
So before we make the motion.
Before he does that, any other questions about process procedure for today? Okay, I think the floor is yours, Jerry.
Thanks very much.
Oh.
We have,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want this to go before we go into executive session?
I want to make this record in the public. I want to make this record in the public meeting, so it's available for the public to know that the board candidates have agreed with this. And there are
Great.
4 board candidates, am I right?
Yes, we have 4.
Okay, all right, terrific. So this is really for the board candidates. I recognize that a couple of the board members are are incumbents and are running, but because they're on the board now, they don't need to affirm this. They're already on the board. So here we go. For the board candidates, let me just go through these points. You're here because you are a candidate for the Board of Selectmen. If you win, you will work with and rely on the person ultimately selected for the town administrator position. On this basis, and for the purpose of this meeting, the board is extending to you an invitation to provide input to the present Board of Selectmen during the executive session on their selection of a permanent town administrator, and we ask that you listen closely to the interviews. At the end of the day, and again during the executive session, to decide next steps, the board will ask you to provide to the board your thoughts on which finalists should be selected and why. After receiving your input, the Board of Selectmen will then begin deliberations, and a board-only discussion will ensue, again, all during the executive session. The board is conducting today's interviews in executive session and out of the public view. The board is doing so to protect the privacy interests of the finalists and to encourage their candor when answering the board's questions. outside of a court order or further instruction from the Board of Selectmen, we ask that you not share with anyone else the information that you hear from the finalists today or any of the board members or town staff's comments during this executive session about any of the finalists. So I'm now going to ask that each of the board candidates affirm that they agree with the conditions that I have just, pardon me, just read. So let's go ahead and ask you, if you don't mind, to state your name and say whether you agree with the conditions I've just read, and just go through the list. Who's first?
Go ahead and start with you, Mike.
Yep. I'm Mike Huggins, write-in candidate for police judge, and I agree to those terms.
I'm Jay Cooper, candidate for Ward 2. I agree to those terms.
I'm Georgia Confed, candidate for police judge, and I agree with those terms.
My name is Kristen Anson. I am a writing candidate for Ward 2, and I agree with I agree.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I really appreciate both the board candidates accommodating me today. It's important. And I really appreciate not only your attendance here, but your willingness to agree to the rules of the game. It's an important decision, obviously, the board will ultimately make. Thanks, Lynette. You can go ahead and do your executive session motion. I'll go ahead and once you've done that and you've switched over, I'll zoom into your executive session, mostly just to help and make sure the announcements and whatnot get made. And then you can be launched into that session and you won't need me for most of it.
Okay, Rob Connell has the motion.
I move to go into an executive session under CRS 246402-4F with the town attorney, town administrator, and appropriate invited persons and staff to conduct final interviews for the town administrator position and evaluate candidates. I further move to return to the open meeting, at the conclusion of the executive session.
I second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll close down this recording and get the executive session recording going.